Sometimes the road takes us exactly where we need to go, even when we believe we are lost. On a quiet country road, far beyond the towns and highways, there is a place that does not appear on any map. A small bed and breakfast tucked deep among the trees. Warm lights glowing in the windows, a lantern by the door, welcoming travellers who happen to find their way there. Most people pass by without ever knowing it exists, but every now and then, someone arrives who needs it. This is the story of one such traveller. Her name was Eleanor Hart. Eleanor was back in the cemetery, surrounded by hundreds of graves, people who had left the earth, left their loved ones behind. The late afternoon sky had begun to fade when she finally stood from the bench beside the cemetery path. She had been sitting there longer than she realised. The small granite stone before her was simple. She traced the name gently with her fingers. Daniel Hart. It had been 3 years since the illness had finally taken him. 3 long years since the hospital room. 3 years since the quiet that followed. A soft breeze stirred the autumn leaves across the grass. "Well," Eleanor whispered quietly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "The girls say I need a weekend away." Her friend Claire had insisted. A quiet cabin by the lake, 3 close friends, no responsibilities, just a few days to breathe again. Eleanor wasn't sure she was ready for laughter yet, but she had promised she would try. She looked once more at the headstone. "Wish me luck," she said softly. Then she walked back to her car. The road toward the lake wound through miles of quiet countryside. Small farms, long stretches of forest. The evening light slowly faded as the sun slipped behind the hills. At first, Eleanor followed the directions Claire had sent her. But somewhere past an old covered bridge, she missed a turn. She didn't notice right away. Her thoughts were still at the cemetery, remembering Daniel, remembering the life they had shared. By the time she glanced at her phone again, the signal had disappeared. The narrow country road stretched ahead between tall trees that leaned gently over the pavement. Eleanor slowed the car slightly. "Claire is going to laugh when I tell her I got lost before the weekend even started," she murmured. The sky had grown darker now. Then she saw it. A warm, golden lantern glowing between the trees. Beside it stood a small wooden sign. Stillwater House, Bed and Breakfast. Eleanor pulled onto the gravel drive. Right now it looked like the most welcoming place in the world. She turned off the engine and stepped out into the cool evening air. From the back seat, she grabbed her suitcase and slipped the strap of her purse over her shoulder. Then she locked the car and climbed the wooden steps to the porch. The lantern flickered softly beside the door. Eleanor knocked. The door opened almost immediately. An older woman stood there, her silver hair braided neatly over one shoulder. Her smile was warm and welcoming. "Good evening," she said kindly. "You look like you've been travelling a long while." Eleanor gave a tired laugh. "That obvious?" "Only to someone who runs a bed and breakfast," the woman replied gently. "I'm Margaret." "Eleanor." "It's nice to meet you, Eleanor," Margaret said. "Come in out of the cold." Inside, the house felt wonderfully warm. A fire crackled softly in the sitting room. Shelves of books lined the walls. An old clock ticked quietly near the staircase. Eleanor registered at the front counter and paid for one evening. Margaret set a kettle on the stove. "I'll make us a nice cup of tea," she said kindly. Then she looked at Eleanor. "Would you like to call your friends?" "There's a landline here. The cell phone signal can be unreliable out on these roads." "That would be wonderful," Eleanor said with relief. She dialed Claire's number from memory. After a few rings, Claire answered. Eleanor, where are you? We were starting to worry. Eleanor laughed softly. I'm fine. I missed a turn somewhere and ended up miles off the route. So where are you now? At a little bed and breakfast called Stillwater House. There was a pause. I've never heard of it, Claire said. It's so sweet, Eleanor replied, just tucked away in the woods. I'll head to the cabin in the morning. Claire sounded relieved. Good. Drive safely tomorrow. We'll have coffee waiting. After the call, Eleanor settled into the chair beside the fire. Margaret returned with tea and a generous slice of warm apple pie. For a few peaceful minutes, they talked quietly. Eventually, Margaret smiled gently. You've had a long day, she said. You should get some rest. Eleanor unpacked her suitcase in the cosy room Margaret had shown her. It overlooked a small garden where lanterns glowed softly among the flowers. Beyond them, a narrow stream moved quietly through the trees. She laid fresh pajamas across the bed, then stepped into the bathroom and turned on the shower. Warm water filled the room with steam. When she returned, the house was completely still. There was no sound from Margaret. The entire inn seemed to be sleeping. Eleanor slipped beneath the covers. Outside, the stream whispered gently through the night. For the first time in a very long while, sleep came easily. And before long, she drifted into the deepest sleep she had known in months. Then she saw someone standing across the water. Daniel. Healthy again, strong, the way he had been before illness had slowly taken over his body. He was not solid in form, yet it was unmistakably him. Daniel, she whispered. He smiled warmly. Hi, Ellie. Tears filled her eyes. I miss you so much. I know, he said gently. Darling, I miss you too. I miss us. The pain is gone now, Daniel told her softly. All of it. Relief washed through her. Then Daniel looked at her with gentle seriousness. Ellie, thank you. For what? For being the best wife and partner I could ever have asked for. Her breath caught. You stood beside me through everything. I would do it all again, she whispered. I know you would, he said kindly. My new world isn't very far from the Earth plane, he said softly. We still know what's happening with the people we love, and your sadness has been very hard for me to see. Eleanor lowered her eyes. I didn't know how to move forward. That's why you're here tonight, Daniel said gently. Sweetheart, please live again, laugh again, and when the time is right, love again. You want that? She asked. More than anything. Start by writing in your journal, he said. You know you love to write everything down. Write the kind of man you would want beside you someday. And then watch for coincidences. Life has a funny way of guiding people when they start paying attention. Live in joy, he said softly, for both of us. Travel, sweetheart. Do the things we had planned. I need you to be joyful, Ellie. I need you to experience life again. And when your journey here is finished, many years from now, I'll be waiting. I love you, Ellie. I love you too, she whispered. Oh, Daniel, I promise I will start to live again for us both. Morning light slowly filled Eleanor's room. For a moment, she lay still, remembering the dream. Daniel's voice, his smile. It had felt so real. She dressed and stepped into the hallway. The house was quiet. "Margaret," she called softly. No answer. The sitting room had already been tidied. Sunlight rested across the wooden floor. The leather guestbook sat on the small desk near the door. Eleanor opened it. Her name was written neatly where she had signed the night before. She picked up the pen. Beneath her name, she wrote a few simple words. "Thank you for the most important message I could ever receive." She closed the book gently, but another page shifted beneath the cover. Curious, she opened it. Her eyes moved slowly down the page, then her breath caught. Written in familiar handwriting was a name she knew from memory. Daniel Hart. The entry was dated the night before. Beneath it were only a few words. "Ellie will find her way." Daniel had been there last night with her. A tear ran down her cheek. Daniel was healthy, free of pain, and she confirmed to herself again, "I promise I will live for us both again." Eleanor stepped outside into the morning sunlight. Her car waited beside the quiet country road. She headed out of the inn and towards a new life. When she got to her car, she turned to say thank you and goodbye. She froze. Stillwater House was gone. No porch, no lantern, no windows, only trees, an empty lot, and the soft sound of the stream somewhere beyond. Eleanor stood there for a moment, the realization washing over her. Her hands went to her mouth. It was real. Daniel was real. She was hurting him with her sadness, being stuck. She would do what he had asked, holding the memory of the night gently in her heart. She said thank you again. Then she climbed into her car and started the engine. The road curved toward the lake where her friends were waiting, where laughter was waiting, where her new choices were waiting. And for the first time in a very long while, Eleanor felt ready to choose life. Because some places appear only when they are needed. Stillwater House has reappeared, beautifully lit, warm and inviting, waiting for the next traveller who will soon be finding their way down that winding road and knocking on the front door.